There's this quiet tension that lives between self-discipline and self-care. One tells you to get up on your feet, focus on your goal, hit the gym, do all the things you've said you're going to do today. Just focus on your day and try to accomplish all on your to-do list. Why did that tells you to, when you wake up, just chill, relax, take a deep breath. You've done enough. You did a lot yesterday. It's time for you to rest. And of late, I've been struggling with these two, self-discipline and self-care, trying to find a balance between the two of them and trying to know what I need to do to be able to find a balance between the two of them. Hi guys, my name is Ella Onuma and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're just in this beautiful face for the first time, thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm so glad to have you here. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. We are happy to have you over here. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So it's going to basically be about this topic, self-discipline and self-care, finding a balance between the two of them. Is it really possible to find a balance or practice balance in self-care and self-discipline? Is it achievable? Sometimes I can be in my very self-discipline era. I just wake up in the morning, do the things I'm supposed to do, hit the deadlines I'm supposed to hit, and just click all the boxes in my to-do list. And then when I do it and do it and do it and do it and do it consistently for a period of time, I begin to feel very robotic. I begin to feel like, okay, I think I need a break. Okay, I think it's time to rest. And now when I now transition into my self-care era by, taking a break and resting from all of those stuffs, I begin to lose purpose. I begin to be like, okay, what's the whole point of this thing? Like, why am I not setting a goal for myself? Why is it feeling like there's no purpose anymore? Like, I begin to see that, okay, I don't have any purpose anymore. And all of those things make me realize that this whole thing has to be balanced, self-discipline and self-care, because when you lean into one more than the other, you begin to lose one. You begin to just lose yourself. And you begin to lose purpose. And it's just so funny because both of them have to work together. Both of them have to coexist together. A lot of people like to say that, especially people that lean into one more than the other, like to say that you can do without the other, but it's a very big lie. You cannot do without one. As much as you have to stay responsible, as much as you have to stay accountable to yourself, you also need to take a break. You also need to rest. You also need to exercise yourself. Stand up and gym, stand up and do that thing. What is self-care to you? What's the definition of your self-care? That should be it. Now, in both self-care and self-discipline, it's something that actually equates to self-respect. Because if you look at it from both angles, it's like you telling yourself that I respect myself enough to take a break. I respect myself enough to not crash out. I respect myself to know when to draw a line and tell myself that, okay, do you know what? I've worked too much. My body needs to rest. On the other hand, you also tell yourself that I respect myself enough to pick up myself from the ground. I respect myself enough to tell myself, okay, it's time to stop being lazy. Let's hit that goal. We set a goal for ourselves this year and we've not achieved any of them. Now, it's self-respect to come to realize that you respect yourself to the extent that you want to achieve those goals. And how do you achieve those goals? By staying disciplined. You set a goal for yourself this year that, okay, do you know what? I want to, lose an amount of weight this year, and it's already November and you've not done anything and you've been, treating yourself and, I can't keep myself kind of vibe. And it's already November and you're like, what the hell? It's the level of self-respect you have for yourself, and you'll be like, do you know what? Let's stop this. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Let's just, it's never too late to hit the gym. Even though we lose like 1 kg before the end of the year, it's still something. That's self-respect. So when you get to this point, you are able to find an actual balance. One of the easiest ways to find balance is knowing that self-care and self-discipline equate to self-respect. Now, my second point on trying to find a balance between self-care and self-discipline, I would say control. Control is very, very important and very vital in, finding a balance between two of them, because most of the times we lack self-control. A lot of people, a lot of adults lack self-control. They don't know when to draw a line. They don't know when to tell themselves, okay, enough is enough. And which is really, really bad, because it goes down to the root of everything. It goes down to the root of overdoing things. You get to overstay at this particular part of you chose, or this particular part you are enjoying, and you get to either be very detrimental to you or not, and which is something that we should come to realize, because a lot of people do not realize that they don't have control, they don't exercise control over themselves. Take for instance, now you work and work and work and work, you don't know that you are a human being and you need to draw a line and tell yourself to take a break. Now you are currently in a self-care era, you're currently telling yourself that, oh, I'm currently taking a break from work, oh, I'm currently doing this, you have to exercise control to the point that you don't overdo it. Now, when you fail to exercise self-control, it begins to affect your productivity when you get back into your self-discipline era. Whether you like it or not, because you've slacked too much. It's like you're starting all over from the beginning, and which is really, really bad, because starting all over from the beginning is you have to now start stretching those muscles. So let me take an example of someone that starts a gym. Start a gym, for instance, and you have been consistent in the gym for 2 months, and you've been going strong and all of that stuff, and then you're like, okay, do you know what, I need to take a break from this routine of waking up early in the morning by 6 and hitting the gym for like 2 hours. I need to take a break, and you take that break for, let's say, like 2 to 3 weeks. When you hit the gym back, what does your muscles tell you? Your muscles tell you that, where have you been, like what have you been doing? Like your muscle will always feel the pain and the pressure, and that applies to everything in your life. When you take excessive break and you don't control the break, it tends to affect you when you come back, whether you like it or not. It is good to take a break from work, but it's also good to control the time within which you take a break. The same applies to self-discipline. When you are in your self-discipline era for too long, you come into your self-care era, you might not even know how to take care of yourself, you might not even know what to do in that place. And that leads us to the next point. What is self-care to you? One thing you should always do when you are trying to exercise self-care is knowing what makes you so comfortable and eases you from that very stress you are trying to run away from. If it does not ease you but cause you much pressure, then it's not self-care. A lot of people have different definitions for what they say is self-care. Some people say that self-care is them taking a trip outside the country or just anywhere that is nice for them to like breathe a fresh air. Changing environment can be self-care for you. Some people buying things for themselves, taking themselves out and buying things for themselves, or just gifts for themselves can be self-care. Some people is just lying down on the bed and not doing anything for the day, like me. That is my own way of taking care of myself. I just don't want to do anything today. I just want to rest. I just want to be on my bed all through. So it just depends on what self-care means to you. And this goes a long way, because most of the times people take the definition of what self-care means to others and impose it on their life, forgetting that everybody's life is different and everybody's body and brain is structured to function differently. Some people use sport to ease tension. I don't use sport to ease tension. I can never use sport to ease tension. The best way for me to ease tension is lie down on my bed and rest, or just eat that very nice meal that I've been craving, or just anything that is not going to stress me physically. But to some people, that is what they call self-care. That is what they say, okay, I'm taking myself out of work, this is the best thing to do. For me, I'm not going to say hitting the gym is my self-care, is my way of easing tension. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. I'm not that strong. I'm not physically, and I'm not a physical enthusiast that I would go to the gym and start gymming because I want to. No, that is not my way of easing tension. The best way I can ease tension is by eating all the good food I want to eat. I know my friends will watch this. They will watch this now and they'll be saying, yeah, Ella is a foodie. Yeah, I'm a foodie. I really like food. I'm just going to give you guys a quick backstory. Back when I was in university, I had friends, like reading partners, people we read together. There was a particular time that a friend of mine, she studied all through the night and she didn't blink that night. We did the exam. She went to the exam hall, wrote the exam, and she did very well. And I decided to practice that. I decided to stay up at night and study and go for my exam the next day. And guess what, guys, when I did that, when I went to the exam hall, I was blank. When I mean I was blank, I was looking at the questions. I could not comprehend what was on my, I could not even understand the questions. It was like I was shut down. I came to realize that very moment that I would never in my life do like a whole night reading without sleeping, even though it's for 2 hours. I mean, it is good to study at night, but it's also very good to know what your body can take. I realized that my body could not take overnight study without sleeping. If I have to do overnight study, I have to take a break in between, sleep for like 2 hours before the exam or something, so that my brain is refreshed. So I learned a very big lesson that day that I would never in my life do it anymore. So when I was in law school, I know there were stories of people that, ran mad as a result of studying so much, like study, study, study. And the thing about this whole thing is that people tend to call people's life into their life and think that that is how it should be. If you know that your body, your brain cannot absorb that much without break, learn to take a break. This leads me to my next point: consistency over intensity. This will come off wrong on people that are very self-disciplined, people that take their goals very serious and don't play with it. The truth is that too much pressure will burn you out, surely burn you out. Also, too much comfort will slow you down. Now, here's what you should do, or here's what you should put in mind trying to stay consistent. Instead of intensifying the rate at which you push for your goal, just do the things you are supposed to do bit by bit and do it consistently. Instead of you putting extra pressure on yourself, just do the very, very minimum things very consistently, and it puts you on a level of growing a habit. According to Google, it takes, I think, 29 days to get used to something that you're doing. So if you're the kind of person that is always very lazy about things, have like a diary where you have like a to-do list and always write down the things that you intend to do for that day, and at the end of the day always try to tick those things. And when you keep doing this thing consistently for days and for long, you realize that you begin to hit your goal more than the way you usually hit your goal. And at the end of the day, do not forget to take a break. At the end of the day, do not forget to give yourself a little bit comfort. And when you are also in your comfort, do not forget to do it too much, because it will slow you down whether you like it or not. My very last point before this video comes to an end is emotional honesty. One thing I want you to come to understand is that you should be very honest with yourself. It is when you come to realize that you are this kind of person that you are, that is the point you get to start growing, because you can never grow when you never come to acknowledge certain things that you are used to, or characters and traits that you portray. It is in knowing that you can be a better version of yourself. So always have an emotional honesty. Always come to ask yourself emotionally, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I procrastinating? Why am I overstressing myself? Why am I burning out every time? Or what do I need to do? It is when you come to that point that you are able to take a step back or take a step forward in becoming a better version of yourself. If you follow this practical point that I have listed out in this video, I think it's going to help you on a long run. That is it. If you come to this point, I really hope you enjoyed this video and this video was very helpful to you. If it was, please just give me a big thumbs up in this one and subscribe to my channel. And I want to see you in my next video. I really want to see you. Bye.